coming back. We're going to chop it up. This is boxing history. We talking about all the great shit he has seen, all the training he has done. We talking about the Bronx. We getting into it. We talking about Roy Jones. Your boy's a part of history. Shout out to the real. Shout out to the fake. Shout out to that nosy bitch. She better stay in her place. Get in line, punk. HONEYBOY. Let's go.
Sir. Yes, sir.
What's going on, champ?
What's going on, my brother?
How you doing, man?
Chilling?
I'm chilling.
Always wanted to be on this show, man. Huh?
I didn't think he was gonna show up, man.
Nah, man. I keep it 100 with my peoples.
Man, it messed me up, man. I was confused. I didn't know what to do.
So what's up, baby?
Man, how you doing, champ?
I'm doing all right, man. You know, I'm blessed. That's all I can say. I'm blessed.
Man, you had a great life. You did some great shit in life. You did some great things. Yeah. I'm waiting for my co-host. She's late. So, you know, this is how it functions. So we're going to keep it moving, man.
No
so
doubt.
Tell me about it, man. What you up to right now? How many people you training? What are you doing?
Well, right now, you know, I'm starting all over because the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? But I was in Vegas doing my thing. I had Floyd Mayweather's uncles calling me the fixer. You know what I'm saying?
Why
I was making
you the fixer?
Because I was fixing them up. They was getting stopped. And I was making them fight for titles in world championships. By Dude Jack, Ronald Gabriel. I was training Ladarius Miller. I had the whole TMT team. I had Floyd throwing me fat checks.
You've been part of some of the milks. How is Bodak Jack? Y'all still cool? Y'all still talking?
We all right. We don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? You know how money changes, niggas. You know, like, you know, he's 100% Muslim. You know what I'm saying? So he can't be around me. I drink. You know what I'm saying? I smoke. You know what I'm saying? But, you know.
Shout out to the real, highly dysfunctional. What that got to do with what, you know, y'all had together?
Nah, you know. No, but you know what it is, though? It's like when you first come to a place and you need somebody, you let them do what they got to do, you know? Once you get to where you at, all of a sudden, that's not good for you. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, oh, wow, why you doing that? Oh, why you doing this? Like, yo, my man, I came in here and saved your career. You know what I'm saying? Why you worrying about what I'm doing? When I was living with you, you wasn't worrying about what I was doing. Now I'm not living with you. You worried about what I'm doing. That don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand perfectly. It's not about none of you doing by yourself. It's about what y'all doing together.
Exactly. You know, I put in the work. You know what I'm saying? You know, like when I went down there out of love. I didn't go down there for money. You know, I was doing my own thing up here. But, you know, he begged me to come down. I came, and we took over. You know what I'm saying? We won titles. But then it started getting crazy. He started getting that money. He started going to Dubai. Then he started adding people into the team. Remember, it was three of us.
So hold up. He was acting like a bitch because when bitches go to Dubai, they act crazy.
Oh, I ain't calling him a bitch, but you know, he was acting bitchy.
Yeah, all right, I dig it. So that's what happened between you and y'all.
I left.
Yeah. So, but what I see from the beginning, I mean, he had nothing but respect for you. He gave you respect for, you know, helping his career out. He gave you respect for what you did for him.
Yeah.
He wasn't saying nothing negative about you at all. I seen his ex-trainer, the one that you took over for, he had a lot to say.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he had a lot to say.
Big mad.
Huh?
He was big mad. Eddie was big mad.
Yeah, he Eddie, you know what it is with Eddie? Eddie was just hating on me, man. I couldn't help it, but, you know, I ran him out the gym. Everybody he was training, everybody he was training, I took over. Nobody want to pay a nigga 10%, and they ain't doing nothing but telling them jab and move around. You know what I'm trying to say?
I know exactly what you're trying to say. I'm a fighter, not to your caliber, so I got a lot to learn. You know what I'm saying? I'm a street fighter. I did mixed martial arts. I did a little boxing, but I'm more of a street fighter guy. Some people said I should have went boxing.
Me too. I grew up in the projects. I grew up in QB, yo. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I started fighting at 20 years old. Who?
Hold on. Let me add the next partner in here. Well, I can't find you, man. I don't know where you at. Shout out to him. So, yeah, so let's talk about the Bronx, man, because you said you grew up in Queens.
Queensbridge Projects, yo.
That's right. So was it the Bronx or was it the Queens, or did you grow up in both?
Well, I grew up in both. I started my career when I was 20 years old. When I came out of jail and I was in a drug program, I went straight to the Bronx. So, you know, strictly the Bronx, you know. I couldn't go back to the hood.
And if I may ask you, what do you do time for?
You know, the crack business, you know, robbing, stealing, you know, selling. I was bad, yo. I was doing really bad.
So what age did you get in, what age did you enter the boxing?
20 years old.
And that's late for a lot of boxers.
Yeah.
They say boxing is a young man's game. Mixed martial arts is an older man's game. And I want to get into it because you had a lot to say about the differences. And everything you said, because I did mixed martial arts, it is true. It is very true. I agree with you 100% with the differences, because I believe boxing is way harder than mixed martial arts.
Well,
do you feel the same?
Yeah, I feel the same. You know, you got, listen, anything you do in life, you got to do 100. You got to go hard. See, when I went into boxing, I already knew how to fight. I already knew because I grew up in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I was always fighting. I was knocking out grown men. I was doing crazy stuff. I really was. I couldn't live there no more because them niggas were gonna kill me. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with Nas in the corner when he was little. I grew up with Mobb Deep and lived across the street from me. They were young kids. I was a big boy. I was grown. You know, let's put it this way. Nas picked me up in the hotel in Roosevelt when I fought Roy Jones. You know what I'm saying? I used to be on the stage with Nas. Then I moved to the Bronx. I met Fat Joe. That became my man.
You figured that would be a connection, man. How was your relationship with Fat Joe, man? I figured it'd be love there.
It was. You know how let's put it this way. You know how it all started, right? I knocked out his best friend, Tony Montana.
Shout out to Tony Montana. You knocked him out?
Laid him out. He saw it.
How did that happen?
What happened was I had just came out of the drug place. I went to the club. You know what I'm saying?
And before they all know, we don't want no judges because a lot of people going to see this later. I was in the myself, highly dysfunctional. I've been through it all. I've been through the same into. So I figured that was the attraction. When you liked it, what I was doing, I said, man, this guy got to be highly dysfunctional like me.
Dysfunctional. I'm really dysfunctional. So now, you know, I seen when I went into the club, I seen the girls rubbing up on niggas dancing like, oh, they was like having sex. So I seen that kid, Tony Montana, dancing with a girl going at her. Once he left, I jumped on her. So boom, we going at it. You know what I'm saying? So my man, Tony Montana, tried to come back in. I was like, yo, that's your man? She was like, nah, that ain't my man. I was like, yo, get out of here, yo. Come on, get out of here. And then the nigga started whispering behind my ear. I turned around, was like, yo, what's up, yo? What happened, yo? There's too many girls here. Boom, he started, yo, he was with his crew, he was with Fat Joe, all of them. I didn't know none of them niggas. So boom, we both got thrown out of a club. So I squashed it because the bouncer threw me out. I wanted to go get him. I put a bottle in my pants, that bouncer, because he said he was gonna get me out nice. but he threw me out. I was mad. I wasn't even worried about Tony Montana. But then Tony Montana got thrown out the way I got thrown out. So the nigga started pounding his chest telling me, I don't know who he fucking with. Like, you don't know who you fucking with. And I'm saying to myself, damn, this nigga don't know who he fucking with. I put that telling you, that was the best knockout I ever had in my life. I swear my daughter and my son dropped dead if I'm lying.
Shout out to the real. So after you put him on his ass, and not to, I just want to make correlation to that. How I got shot the first time I got shot was the same way. I had took over a girl. I seen it with a girl. I had took over, and he came. I was like, "Is that your man?" Same shit. I smacked him in the face. Later on that night, I got shot. But how did your situation end up after that?
Well, what happened was that was in '89 before I won the Golden Gloves. Remember, I was from Queensbridge. I just moved to the Bronx. So, you know, boom, I'm in the gym, boom, doing my thing. I turned pro. Years later, Fat Joe's opening up a barber shop across the street from the gym. I'm living in the gym. I turned pro. So Fat Joe made a song, The Shit Is Real. Dun, dun, that first song, Shit Is Real. So I fell in love with that song. He was Puerto Rican, you know? So, boom, I see the nigga in person, right? But I didn't know he was the nigga that was chasing me with a bottle.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
About all that?
No, I didn't know.
Because you didn't know who he was back then. You didn't know that.
He wasn't nothing back then. I wasn't nothing back then either.
Right.
Let's put it this way. He had that one song out. He opened up a barbershop with his brother, Money Man, right? So I was like, yo, you Fat Joe, yo, I'm a fan, yo. Boom, boom, boom. Then we became friends. So I invited him to my fight. I fought on the undercard of Hector Camacho. He was the biggest Hector Camacho fan. He was the biggest. So boom, we all went. My fight got canceled. Me, Fat Joe, and a bunch of niggas. The nigga I was supposed to fight had a detached retina. So I couldn't fight him. He came up to me popping shit. We beat him up. Stomped him out.
The dude that you was supposed to fight.
Right. He came up to us. Talk about I'm lucky.
And you fucked him up anyway.
We all fucked him up. Fat Joe stomped him out, everything.
Shout out to the real. I love it. I love it. I love
Word
it.
up.
So you really from the streets?
From the streets to the gutter, everything, all that.
So when you think about where you started and where you came from, how do you appreciate that?
I'm in heaven. I love myself now. I hated myself when I was in the projects. The Bronx opened up my life. It opened up for everything. Spanish girls. You know, I was only messing with black girls. You know what I'm saying? I see Puerto Ricans now. I ain't seen no Puerto Ricans before. White girls. You know what I'm saying? And plus, when I won the gloves my first year, '89, that was it. I was on a rampage.
So let me ask you. So when you did the gloves, you was, how old was you?
20 years old.
You was 20 years old. But how did you get into that? You was in the street, and did somebody come to you and say, yo, come over here? Help.
You got to remember, I always was an athlete. I played ball. I went to an all-black high school. My sister played for Alabama University. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My sister won 4 titles in 3 weight divisions.
I know.
She won.
Talk about that. I didn't want you to bring that up. I wanted to get
it. I'm sorry. Anyway, I love sports. That was my thing. That was my thing. So when I seen Hector Camacho fight a southpaw, I learned. I picked up. I was knocking niggas out with the 1-2. You know, like when a nigga in the street fight, they fight with their power in their front hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I knew not to fight with my power in my front hand.
You knew that off the rip?
Off the rip, that 1-2 was putting people out. You know what I'm saying? Especially after some drinks and, you know, getting high.
Yeah,
I was killing them.
I know, I've been there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you came up, you got in Golden Gloves. So tell the people how good you did. Did you win?
I won the Golden Gloves in '89. In 1990, I got robbed. I fought a cop, Richard Frazier. I smacked him. The whole that fight was in the Big Garden the second year. I smacked them. They robbed me. My whole career, I've been getting robbed. This guy was 32 years old. They raised the age limit. That was my second year fighting. He had over 100 fights, and I smacked him. They gave it to him. He was a policeman. The commissioner of police was there. You heard the crowd go, boo, boo. So after that, it was nothing else to do but turn pro. I became 22-0. Then I fought Virgil Hill.
Yeah. I want to talk about that because some people feel like you won the Virgil Hill fight.
I smacked them. Yo.
So you do feel like you got robbed at the Virgil Hill.
I dropped him. I cut him. I knocked his mouthpiece. I won the last 3 rounds.
You did?
Yo, he had 22 title defenses. I had only 22 fights. Only fought 1 10-rounder. And I fought him in his hometown in North Dakota.
That's where we like to fight at.
Yeah. I hurt that boy.
You did. I felt the same way. I felt like you would have been hurt. I've been there where the judges go for the champion or the most popular fighter at that time. Sometimes you got to be sure you might as well just knock him out.
I know. I tried, man.
During the fight.
I was still green. You know what I'm saying? That was my problem. I was green. I should have finished him. You know what it was? They were setting up the fight where he was a silver medalist. They were setting him up to fight the IBF champ, who was the gold medalist in Germany. So if I would have won, that would have messed everything up.
All of that.
Yeah. That would have tanked everything.
So when you think about the Virgil Hill fight, right after that fight, being that you should have won, and that was such a big opportunity.
Nah. I didn't think I won because I didn't.
You won.
No, in the beginning, I didn't think I won because his jab was touching me a lot. When I saw it on TV, I said, I smacked this nigga. You know what I'm saying? When I was fighting, I didn't fight fighters at that level. So I wasn't used to getting touched. My defense is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like all these guys who's considered great, them niggas is punch drunk. They like, nigga, I can still talk shit. I got my balance. I still got the 1-2. I ain't get touched like that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't getting hit like that. I ain't never been stopped, never been dropped.
Never been dropped. I know. That's very impressive that you've never been dropped. So how would you put what category would you put you in as far as style of fighting?
With what?
What category would you put yourself in as far as style of fighting? Do you consider yourself a technical pro?
Yeah. Pernell Whitaker. That was my man. That was my favorite fight. I learned everything from him. I took his style and ran. First it was Hector Camacho. Remember, I was a southpaw. So I was slick for a light heavyweight. You don't see no slick light heavyweights.
I gotta ask for the record, are you a lefty or a righty?
I'm a southpaw. Lefty.
All right. Cool.
And that's the advantage I had in the hood. When I played basketball, they used to call me Chris Mullins. That was nice. Yo, I swear to God, because I look like a white boy.
You can shoot it. You had some of that back in the day?
I went to an all-black high school in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. So what you was doing in North Carolina? What age was that? You was in high school.
I was in high school, 16.
So how
17.
long?
I went there for 1 year. I didn't like it. And I quit school and started selling drugs, and that was it. So that's when the crack came out.
Crack era was heavy. And obviously touched where you was at and some of the things that you was doing. So
go ahead.
So so let me think about this. So the crack era hit, you was out of high school, fresh out? You dropped out?
I dropped out. I didn't go back because the situation over there was bad. My
father that got touched by the crack era, he was touched by the crack era also. So I mean, you can say, I don't like to say that because I love my pops. I can say I lost my pops from the crack era, but I am who I am because of my pops.
Word
So
up.
so
That's real.
so how did crack era impact your community and where you was at? And
It destroyed it, man. It destroyed me. Yo, I was smoking Wooler blunts. That was the thing. We was smoking Wooler blunts like it was regular weed. We was looking at crackheads. Look at that nigga, yo, crackhead, smoking the pipe. But we didn't know we were crackheads. You know what I'm saying?
And these younger cats don't know how, because they're getting hooked on drugs. You got the fentanyl, you got things like that. And they don't know that how the OGs got hooked on crack. It wasn't a crackhead back then. People were using a new drug. Nobody knew what they was doing.
Yep.
Nobody knew what they was getting into. And
Yep.
some of us got caught up. Not some of us, but some of the people before me got caught up before, you know what I'm saying, they learned out what it was. So a lot of people don't know that. So I just want you to educate on that while you're talking about your story, because it's important here.
Well, you know what, man? Crack took me to the lowest. You know what I'm saying? I robbed my neighbor. I robbed the drug dealer on the 5th floor. And remember, we had 6 floors. So to rob a nigga on the 5th floor, you know what I'm saying? We had to do some Spider-Man shit. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, yo, after that, I was getting in a lot of trouble. I was robbing anybody who I could rob. And they were like 3, 4, 5 years older than me. I was taking their shit. You know what I'm saying?
What's the wildest shit you ever did?
Try to rob a token booth. 2030 Eli.
So what happened?
What happened?
Shout out to the chief.
Yo, what happened was, it was 3 of us. Me, Edgar, and Cliff. We were scheming on this guy for a minute. So we didn't want him to see us. You remember back when they had the tokens. So back then, we was waiting for him to open the door. You know, he was by himself. But the guy that was getting the tokens, we rolled up on him. But there was another nigga in there. When I went to reach for the money, that nigga swung a machete shot. I threw a kick at that nigga. And then the girls downstairs started screaming. So my niggas ran. They gave up on me. So I ran. 2030 Eli. I ran right back to the projects, and that was it.
Hold ass.
Ooh, hold ass. Almost had that money.
Shout out to the real. So that's a crazy ass experience, man. And you know what? I got a lot of similarities here. So let's think about today's boxing before I get back to you, just to get these guys in.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about boxing today?
It's too much. It's too much politics. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, all these kids getting shot because of politics. You know what I'm saying? Get selling those big joints. I mean, boxing is about steroids. If you down with the right promoter, you can use steroids. Look at Canelo. Look at Pasquale for Badu. Judges, Al Heyman got them niggas all under them. He got them all on the books. I got tired of it. I'm tired of got robbed. I'm tired of getting draws. We got the most draws in championship fights ever. Boxing is politics. If you ain't with the right nigga, you in trouble unless you laying them out.
So you said, and you know, and we got to be clear. You said Canelo might be on steroids.
Might? Shit, that nigga's on steroids, man. You crazy? Yo, let me tell you something.
I was gonna talk to you about it.
All right, let me tell you one thing right now. Badu fought Pasquale. When we fought him, that was my last fight with him, right?
I seen that.
When I said, yo, Badu, that nigga's on something. He ain't say nothing. But when I left him, he decided to check him. He checked him with this new testing thing. I forgot the name of it, right? They caught everything in his system. Then the WBC banned that testing company because Canelo. You know how much money the sanction fee they get from Canelo? You know how much money? I gave up $12,000 when I fought Roy Jones in the sanction fee because we fought for all 3 belts.
Mm.
So think about
you had to give up 12
for all 3 belts.
So explain, why would you have to give up 12?
Because it's called sanction fees. You understand? You know what sanction fees are, right?
No.
You know,
educate.
Sanction fees are, you got the belt. Every time you fight, you got to give them a percentage.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if I gave up 12,000, how much you think Canelo's giving up?
Millions.
Millions. They got rid of that company that testing for dirtiness.
So when you was fighting, was it steroids in the business back then?
Well, my opinion, I don't know, but I think Roy Jones had to be on it, man. He was too fast and he hit too hard. And he came up on 154.
I mean, you didn't look too bad on that fight.
I know, but the shit hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you something about Roy Jones, and this is just my nigga opinion.
Yeah.
You touched his jaw, and then by the time he got his jaw touched again, his whole style of fighting changed. So my thing is, a lot of people don't know that fighters change once their jaw get tapped.
Yo, you know your shit. Once a fighter gets into like one of those wars or get hurt, they never the same.
My thing is, a lot of people don't know that fighters change once their jaw get tapped.
Yo, you know your shit. Once a fighter gets into like one of those wars or get hurt, they never the same.
He was never.
That happened to Hector Camacho when he fought Chapo in the Garden. When he got rocked, he won that fight. But when he got rocked, almost laid out in the Garden, he started running every fight.
And tell me what you think goes through a fighter's mind at that time. When they're not.
I don't know. I ain't never been in that situation.
So, but you've seen it though. You've seen it happen to a lot of so-called greats that got good hands, and then they get caught.
Yeah, and they get gunshot. It happened to my sister. It happened to my sister. She got gunshot after she got dropped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And what did you?
It happen to a lot of fighters.
And what did you say to her?
Nah, I didn't say nothing. You know, I wasn't training her no more. I had my own career, you know. You know, I could go but so far. I trained my 2 brothers.
Talk about that's what I want to know now that we here, because you trained your whole family, you got them into boxing, and they all were successful.
Yep, they are. My brother Juan, he had a different father. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, still my brother, my mother, you know what I'm saying? He was the youngest. He won 2 Golden Gloves at 125 pounds. My brother Richie, check out this one. I'm trying to get him to fight right-handed because he's a right-handed, you know, person, right? He copied me his whole career. Like, he watched me. He copied me. So I'm like, yo, this nigga suck. What the fuck I'm gonna do with this nigga? You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, I switched him southpaw. He won 5 fights to win the gloves. You know, I had to switch him over.
And when you look back on what you did for your family, because people don't know that victory, small or big, accomplishments is important. And this is your story. And this is their story. And sometimes we look at the rest of the world, we don't realize how important our story is. And how important your story is, that coming from somebody from the Bronx, being an ex-con.
Now, from the projects, QB, I'm telling you, let's make that right.
All right.
See,
well,
listen.
Talk about Bronx in your story so much, so.
But I know, but Queensbridge made me. The Bronx saved me. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the real. And when they talk about that and everything you have done, and a lot of people try to take it away with whatever you've been through on the other side, whether it's negative, whether you went through some ups and downs. They try to take away the beautiful side of life. How important was that right now, if you look at that from your family, from your sister, what you did for them? That's a beautiful thing, man. They might not never reach that height ever again.
They probably would have never fought.
I agree.
My sister,
and
see my
their life, they might not have that type of success or that type of feeling ever again, because there's no better feeling than fighting and winning, and there's no better feeling than that.
But the best person I ever trained in my life was my sister. She was an athlete. We was young. We played tackle football. My sister pitched on a boys' baseball team. My sister played for Alabama University. My sister went to high school in Berkshire, in Boston. My sister was evil. She had hands like a man. And when I seen the girls fight in 1995, the first thing that went to my head was, I got to go to Miami to go get my sister.
So, man, you talking about the girls boxing, and you went viral years ago about Ronda Rousey, and you was right.
I know.
You was totally right. You was totally right. She wasn't shit, in my opinion.
She wasn't.
Soon she got bopped on that head, she went crazy. She didn't know what to do. She did, though. It was crazy how fast that shit changed. She was talking about fighting men, fighting Floyd Mayweather. She got bopped on her head, and she was confused out there. She didn't know what to do. She went through that shock, that spark. You get hit. Every time you get hit, you get knocked out. She explode.
She went to WWE, yo. She said, fuck this. I'm going to do the fake shit.
She had to, though, because she couldn't take that shit.
She didn't have the skill.
All
she had was power.
You took the criticism for that. People ate you up, or they talked about you. They even argued with you about her fighting Mayweather. And I don't even know how that happened. But you was right. And how do you feel about it?
I know boxing. This is what I do, yo. I'm a teacher. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a student because I'm still learning. Every day I'm learning. Every day. Once I stop learning, I stop training fighters. I'm a teacher. I'm going to show you how to hurt somebody. See, these guys be doing that pad work. Nah, I'm going to show you basic, simple. Nice jab, hands up, 1, 2, straight right. You know what I'm saying? Foot balance. You got to have balance. You got to have, you got to be in control. But the secret is you got to hurt them. You got to sting them. You got to make them say, oh, shit, all right, let me chill. You know what I'm saying? That's the secret in boxing. You don't got to be a puncher. You just got to be sharp and accurate.
Oh, yeah, and a lot of fights, you know what I'm saying, the ones you lost close decisions by, you was accurate, but you didn't throw a lot of punches.
Right. Well, no making excuses. When I fought Roy Jones, they gave me 3 weeks and 5 days to get ready for that fight.
Get the fuck out of here.
I swear to God, they offered me $450 first, right? I was like, get the fuck out of here. I ain't fighting no Roy Jones for no $450. So they waited to the last minute and they offered me $850, which that wasn't even that they gave. My manager stole $400,000, him and my promoter. I was supposed to make 1.2. My manager made more money than me. Check that one out. I was supposed to get 1.2 for that fight. So my manager stole 200 and he took a third off my money. He made more money than me.
And let me ask you, because that's some crazy shit, and I hear that in boxing a lot. We heard that with the greats. Yep. We hear that with the smallest. So how does that happen? How do they get in control of your finances like that without you knowing?
Well, you see, I wasn't educated. I trust. He wanted to sign me. You know what I'm saying? I was in his father's gym. I was happy that he gave me 5 G's to sign with him. You know what I'm saying? Boom. We started together. He was assistant DA. Then he became a manager. Then we started going to fights in Philly. We started doing shit together. He had no fighters. I started this guy. He got Star Boxing now. Promotions. You know why he got Star Boxing?
Because of you.
Of me. No, you know why he got that name? Because of me. He told me, what's a good name? I said Star Boxing. And he got it. To this day, he has it. All my kids' life. Everything I tell you is real. 100. Can't make that up. Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. I fought for the niggas that won the title from Virgil Hill. The first nigga Virgil Hill beat Henry Mass, the gold medalist. Then he fought the bronze medalist. The bronze medalist beat him. He had to fight me. He gave up the belt not to fight me. So I fought for the vacant title. You're supposed to go to purse bid. Purse bid is whoever promoter bets the highest gets the fight. We never went to purse bid. My promoter just took the money under the table and I fought in their country. I fought twice in France. I got a draw for a title, vacant, WBA. I should be 4-time, 5-time world champ.
Yeah, I know. Is that from Homeboy? I gotta get his name out. You had 2 fights to get him. Gerard.
Yeah. I got a draw the first fight with a bad hand. Smacked him.
What happened to your hand that night?
When I was sparring, I heard it. I heard it real bad.
Show up.
I had to throw it. You know, sometimes it was hurting. Sometimes I was hitting it with the top knuckle. But they gave me a draw.
And, you know, opportunity is opportunity. And people don't know that a lot of people talk this fighting shit, but a lot of people need the sun to be in line with the planets to even show up to a fight. And when you're coming up, you go through a lot of that. People backing out of fights, you stepping in.
All the time. All the time.
And then
that's what happened with Roy.
In my rookie career. And you know what I'm saying? So I understand. So let me ask you, as far as boxing, who was the toughest guy you fight? Because I know you don't feel Roy Jones was the toughest fight.
Yes, it was.
It was the
toughest. Of course. He was the best.
And he gave you the best fight?
Yeah. Yo, he beat me. He really beat me.
Convincing.
I dropped him, but he beat me. Yo, when I tell I'm fast, I was a fast light heavyweight. He was super duper fast. He'll knock you out with a quick hook.
At that time, because a lot of times people, the generation now don't remember how great Roy Jones is.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about Mayweather, we talk about all these people, and Roy Jones was at that time greater than Mayweather.
Yeah.
On another level. Like it could never happen.
Look at the highlight reels. That's all you gotta do. That nigga Roy was putting on show. I'm glad I'm not on the highlight here reels. I see every time he got the reels, niggas is getting beat the fuck up. I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not on there.
Well, how do you feel about, let me just ask you, as a business person, how do you feel like how the way he ended his career though? Does it matter at that time?
Yeah, it matters all the time. You know, I think, you know what happened with him? I remember him saying on HBO, like, you know, he's not going to be like other fighters. He's going to retire early. I don't know what the fuck happened to him, yo. He just didn't want to stop. Everybody figured out that shit was gone. Yeah,
it turned out, but it can't be suspect because he won so many fights.
No, I'm talking about after I fought him. You know what happened was?
That's what I'm saying.
This is my opinion. He went up to heavyweight. And if you don't think he was on something there, now he got to go back down to light heavyweight to fight Tarver. He beat Tarver. He didn't beat Tarver the way he was supposed to, but he beat him. So he got the fucking rematch. And Tarver caught him with that punch.
And after that, it was over with.
Yeah, that was it. Downhill.
And you know what I think? Like, you know, when he went up to Ruiz,
Yeah.
he went up to Ruiz. And what I think is every great fighter has a plateau. They do something real magical right before they fall off.
Yeah.
It's like they do something real great. And then I don't know whether it's the fame, whether it's the money, whether it's the bitches. I don't know what it was. But it's like after that, it's like that's the height. They can't reach no bigger height than that. Not to say Ruiz was the greater fighter than anybody else. It was like he went up to heavyweight, and that was such a great. You understand?
Yeah. You got to remember, he fought at 154.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to 160. Then he went to 168. Then he went to 175. And he's still knocking niggas. That's like Pacquiao.
Mm-hmm.
Pacquiao, when I first trained for Virgil Hill, that's when I first met Pacquiao. You know how much Pacquiao weighed? 106 pounds.
106 pounds.
From the Philippines.
You know what 106 pounds is?
I know.
That's female.
That's what I'm saying. So how the fuck he go up to 147 and start knocking niggas out like nothing? He had the best cheater in the world, Alex Arribas.
You're giving me a lot right here.
I'm telling you.
What's your top 5 boxes?
I'm giving you facts.
What's your top 5 boxes?
My top 5? Well, there's a kid I like, heavyweight, right?
Heavyweight. You like
Big
my
Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Big Baby. He's fighting my man, though, from my gym, my old gym,
Mm-hmm.
George. I think that was a bad move to take that fight. I forgot his name, Big Baby.
Hold up. You think that was a bad move on Big Baby?
No. Big Baby's the man. I think it's a bad move on my man. My man is 17-0.
And
George Arias.
You don't think it's going to end well?
Nah. This kid is the real deal. Then I like Shakur Stevens. That nigga's bad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a couple of good ones in there. I love my man. I wanted Spence to fight him, but I don't know what happened. I'm getting tongue-tied. My man, Crawford. I love Crawford.
What do you think the problem is with Crawford? Like, is it his management? Is it really his team? Like, why he hasn't, you know what I'm saying? When somebody's such a greater fighter, he's having all these problems with promotion and all this other shit, and they try to blame it on him. And I can't think somebody that's winning fights will be the problem.
I don't. Can I tell you the truth? My opinion, I just don't think they didn't want that smoke, Spence. They was trying to give him some deal like 70-30.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, if I'm who I am, yo, at least I gotta get 40. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
60-40. It's just they overpriced themselves not to fight.
Have you ever took less for a fight you wanted? Like, you want to fuck somebody up? Like, fuck that. I don't care. I'm going in there.
Nah, because I had a manager. You know what I'm saying? And he guided my career right. You know, he did right. But I ain't know the motherfucker was a thief. Remember, I fought 10 fights in 1 year.
And that's another question. A lot of you fought 10 fights in 1 year, and a few fighters have fought a lot of fights in 1 year. That's happening with the greats nowadays.
You know what it is?
A whole year to fight.
That's if you're Olympic. But remember, when I started, I was fighting 4-rounders, then 6-rounders, then 8-rounders. So the 4-rounders, they could, if I win, I knock the nigga out, I could fight the next week. You know what I'm saying? And the 6-rounder, same thing. If you go 8 rounds with a nigga, you got to wait a month or something, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So when I was 10-0, I fought a guy 10-0. And, you know, that was like the biggest name I fought. The winner was going to get signed with MSG. But what happened was MSG went down. I even signed with Don.
How do you feel about Don, not that you know him?
I love
Is he
Don.
really a piece of shit?
I love Don. The only reason what happened with Don, I'm going to tell you, all the bad stuff, but Don will give you the opportunity to get that title. See,
so
he made that
Puff Daddy.
Who?
He's like Puff Daddy in the music industry.
Yeah, but he was going to give me a title shot for the WBC. But, you know, before that, he signed my sister to fight Christy Martin.
Mm-hmm.
But Christy Martin never wanted to fight my sister.
Mm.
You understand? So my sister got put on the shelf. That ruined her career. That ruined my career because the guy I was supposed to fight, he was suing Don for like 2 years. So Don was getting me a fight once, twice a year. Bums. So I got out of my contract and my career went down after that.
Mm.
He was going to get me that WBC belt I wanted.
And that's what you think about Don. He's a guy that can get you that opportunity that you need.
Yeah. And you know what? You know what it is with him? Remember that time Ali fought Foreman?
Yeah, I do remember that. I don't remember it like in my day, but I remember the fight.
He didn't have Ali signed. He thought Ali was going to get knocked out. So he brought a big paper bag of money to get signed with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So he learned from that mistake. So if he has a champion, he's going to sign the fighter that's going to fight his champ. So if he loses the champ, he still got the champ.
Yeah, he still got the champ.
Right.
So he's a good businessman.
Yes.
And sometimes if you're not on the up, it's hard to look at.
Right. But he going to get you that money.
So let's talk about younger fighters coming up. Do you have anybody you working with you feel like it's next thing popping? Do you have anything planned before I get back to boxing?
To be honest, man, I have one kid. He's a good kid. He's undefeated. I'm in his father's gym. He's 8-0, but it's going to take a while. You know what I'm saying? I get calls to go to Vegas. I get calls to go to San Antonio. I don't want to leave no more. I want to be home. So, you know, like I said, the boxing game got me messed up a little. So I want to get a little paycheck and then after work, go and train my fighters. I don't want to do it making a living. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah, you want to do it for the love of it.
Right. I did what I had to do. I'm happy. I'm proud of myself. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I didn't do it for people. I did it for myself because I knew what I could do. I knew I was that nigga. You know what I'm saying? I knew it. So that's what makes me happy, that I knew what I was, I did. You know, some niggas go back and say, man, I could have been this. I could have been that. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I did it. You know what I'm saying?
You talked about being a fighter. You talked about being a trainer. And you talked about being a better trainer than you are a boxer. And I want you just to tell the people what that means. Well, as a teacher, as a mentor, somebody that people look up to. And, you know, you done raised a lot of people under your fold, whether it was directly or indirectly. You done helped a lot of camps. And I just want you to tell people what that means, that you feel that you're a better trainer than you was a fighter.
Because I made a lot of mistakes fighting. I either put my hand wraps too tight. I either ran 20 miles. I either I sparred and then hit the bag for 5, 6 rounds, 8 rounds. I was overtraining. I learned off of my mistakes. So when I tell somebody something, it's because I know, not because I think. It's because I know. You know what I'm saying? I know what worked and I know what didn't work. I know what made me champ and I know what didn't make me champ. You know what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. You know, what made me successful is how I tell everybody, I got the blueprint. All you got to do is follow it. Mm-hmm. But you gotta be hungry. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You gotta want it. Yeah, I can't want it for you.
That's the most important thing for you.
That's the most important. Because I can tell you, I used to call my wife and say, yo, babe, I don't know what's up with Badu, yo. He look like shit, yo, whatever. But Badu was hungry. Badu listened. Badu was humble. You know what I'm saying? He was a good kid. He's from Sweden. So he listened to everything I said. You know what I'm saying? He watched the blueprint. And look where he got. He should have been like 3-4 times. He got like 5 draws. Ronald Gabriel. He got beat up by a bum. He fought Benavides twice. The first time he dropped him. I got him there. He lost to a bum. Badu lost to a bum. But I got them to that championship.
All right, so I got to ask you this because it's cliche. Gervonta Davis. You know, they compared him to Mike Tyson on the internet. He said he had more skill. You agree?
Yeah, way more. Way more skills.
Hold up. Me personally, I think smaller fighters always have more skill.
Yeah, of course. That's why.
Even in mixed martial arts, they always are more technical.
More coordinated.
Yeah, coordinated. Because big guys are used
clumsy.
to big guy shit. So like me, I was a little guy growing up. So when I was fighting bigger guys, I'm more confident against bigger guys than I am smaller guys.
Yeah, me too. Easy
I
work.
know they're gonna do big guy shit, and I'm gonna do smaller. So
exactly. But what I say, Gervonta, see, people don't realize, like you said, when you reach a certain plateau, like when Tyson lost to Buster, people don't know. When Tyson went to Japan or wherever he went, I heard he was fucking all the Chinese girls over there. He was supposed to knock him out early. He almost did. Now you got another man who just lost his mother. But my point is, Tyson wasn't training the way he was. His style, you have to be in shape. So people don't know when you reach that certain plateau, like you said it yourself, what happens? You don't put that work in like you hungry.
You did that before?
Huh?
Have you done that before?
Yeah, a lot of times. When I fought for the world title in France, right before I left to France, a week before the fight, my trainer caught me smoking a cigarette.
Really?
He was flipping on me. Yeah, but I knew the nigga was garbage. You know, but my point is, if I was hungry like I fought Virgil Hill, it would have been a different story. That was the best shape I was in my life. That was the hungriest I was in my life. Remember, this man had 22 title defenses.
That's a fact.
I only had 22 fights with 110 rounder.
That's a fact. You should have won that. If that was anybody else, I feel like if you wasn't an up and comer and they didn't look at you as that, you would have won that fight.
Yeah, but yo, not even that though. My point is, like you said, when you reach a certain plateau, you know what I'm saying? Like with Roy Jones, I met my baby's mother at training camp.
So
I fought Roy 20.
Fucking.
Yeah, my daughter's born. She's 22.
Shout out to the real.
22. She was born that year.
Shout out to my girl Rose. I miss you. Come back.
All right.
I gotta let her know she was a good co-host. I got rid of her. We need her back. She's entertainment here. She was serious, and I cut her off. So let me ask you more questions. So we talking about Devin Haney.
He all right. He good.
What you mean?
I think.
He all right. How you gonna say that? He's one of they light heavyweight. Him and Machico.
Lightweight.
Him and Machico about to fight. So
yeah. Well, let me tell you. Don't get me wrong. That ain't a good fighter.
This is the sound bites.
He just didn't fight nobody yet, though. Really. Gambosis, and that first fight, he was doing a lot of holding. It was just like Caleb Plant. If the referee would have gave him some warnings, he would have been stopped by Benavides. The referee didn't give him not one warning for holding. Come on, man. This is boxing. This ain't hugging. You know what I'm saying? Horrible. Yo, Benavides would have stopped Caleb Plant. Too much holding. And
No. I seen that, and it's that's a unanimous opinion that he was doing a lot of holding. He really won that fight. So what do you ain't say nothing about Ryan Garcia? Well, he just fucked up. He's just gonna get knocked out. This is fight up. So I want to opinion on this because you're a boxing champ. You know what I'm saying? You're an icon, and this is good stuff. So Garcia, Gervonta Davis, who's gonna win?
I got Gervonta. Because he's a southpaw, because he's more fundamentally sound. See, Garcia don't got no defense. He got dropped by a motherfucking white boy, Campbell. That nigga's garbage. He got dropped by it. He ain't got no defense. He got great hands. See, fighting ain't everything. You gotta know how to survive. You gotta know how to be slick and hold and, you know, move around. You know, fall in. Yo, Garcia don't have that. He got his hands too low. The only thing, he's got a different trade than Goosen. I never thought too much of him anyway, but listen, I'm keeping it real. Garcia got probably the best hands in boxing, but he ain't got no defense.
Did we get his top 5 already? Because I feel like we started. We got everything? We got everything. So let me ask you something. When you look, we got to ask again? We got to ask again. So when you look at your career, so when you think about the HONEYBOY,
Right.
How do you see yourself?
How do I see myself?
Right now, looking back.
I see myself as a tough, skillful fighter. Southpaw, slick. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't taking no shorts. I wasn't the greatest. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could have won a couple of belts, but I still wouldn't consider myself great. I would consider myself a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? I can hang out with anybody. I hung out with Roy. I hung out with Virgil. You know what I'm saying? I won the title in Germany against a German who had like 26 knockouts out of 28 fights. He's the hardest that ever hit me. I saw black. You know what I'm saying? But I stopped him in Germany. If I ain't stopped him, I wouldn't have been champ. So I consider myself a good fighter, not a great fighter. I consider myself a great trainer because I could do everything. I could do pads, I could teach, I could work a corner, and I know how to talk to fighters. See, I know some fighters can't take screaming at. I know some fighters, you got to be smooth with them because they get crazy. Like I had that situation with my brothers. My little brother was a knucklehead. I used to flip on him. You stupid motherfucker. You fucking, I'm going to fuck you up. Blah, blah. But I couldn't do that to the older brother. He would lose it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have that same temperament.
Like we came to shut it down. I'm like, we came to shut it down. I'm like, we came to shut it down. Nah, I don't need no help.